Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Matt the Misfit. This is week 2 of your podcast, your weekly dose of professional wrestling on a Saturday night. This is actually recorded today. Going to go up later tonight hopefully before New Japan Pro Wrestling's Resurgence, which is going to be live tonight from I believe it's I have this look up here, the LA Memorial Coliseum, home of the 2028 Summer Olympics. So that should be good. We'll run through that card tonight. I'm gonna cover it next week, so don't worry about that. We got Raw, we got SmackDown, we got NXT, we got AEW, we got the debut of Rampage to talk about. Let's hit the intro right now. There's the intro. Not much is, not a big intro. Just a picture and a great song to go with it. I'm working on something for that. Don't worry. Anyways, let's get on to the show. We're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately, though we have for Raw and SmackDown new matches were announced for SummerSlam. I believe I can look this up here. SummerSlam 2021, I believe, officially, we have 2, 3. I know there's only 2 matches announced for SummerSlam. 2 new matches announced for SummerSlam. We're gonna go through that right now. We're gonna start things off with Raw. We're gonna start off with, I believe the opening segment was. What was the opening segment for Raw? Actually. Randy Orton. There it is. Randy Orton started off Raw, returns to television finally after a few months. He'd been away not a few months, been away for a couple weeks since, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before Money in the Bank. He disappeared. Don't know why. Probably take some time off for vacation or whatever. He came out, talked about how great it is to be back and whatnot. First appearance in front of live fans on Monday Night Raw since February of 2020. But also as his first appearance in front of fans since WrestleMania. So when he beat the Fiend, and we're not even gonna get into that. But he starts gathering promo. Matt Riddle comes out, all happy as it can be. RK Bro reunites, sort of. We'll get to that later. He starts kind of promo, trying to get Randy to hug him, but why not? Randy's not having any of it. AJ and Styles and Omos come out. The Raw Tag Team Champions, talk about trash. Sets up the main event for Raw. AJ Styles and Randy Orton, a rematch from WrestleMania 35. So that's gonna be. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we talk about the show. Great start of the show. I'm glad to see RK Bro back. I'm glad to see this to continue. It does look like we're getting RK Bro versus Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles and Omos for the Raw tag titles at SummerSlam. But then again, we last night on SmackDown we had Nakamura win the IC title. We'll get to that. So the action started off with so then we cut to the back with something I'm actually finally. You know what? I'm a fan of this now. Baron Corbin, homeless Baron Corbin is in the back. The brand Invitational apparently only applies to Baron Corbin. Corbin, looking all disheveled and stuff, was at the request of Jinder Mahal, who currently is trying to seek revenge on Drew, but Corbin he's trying to get money back. Money from after losing to Nakamura, the crown. He's had this down spiral. Basically, is the thing that's going on with Corbin. It's pretty fucking hilarious stuff. And Corbin had my favorite line tonight. We'll get that in a little bit. So we had Corbin, McIntyre. It was a fine match. Nothing to write home about. Mid-match, Drew gets on the microphone, and he says, "I kind of feel bad for you. How much you need to get you by a week or something like that?" And Corbin has the line of the night, probably the line of the week. I don't know, $100,000. I fucking done after that. That was funny. That was actually pretty funny. I knew this was going basically counting down. How about $2 million, $200,000? How about $300,000? Claymore for the win. 1, 2, 3. Building towards their match that no one wants to see at SummerSlam. There's that. Then Jinder Mahal tries to come out and attack with the rest of the Singh brothers. I mean, whoever they are. So there's that. Then we had a rematch from Karrion Kross's terrible Dural debut between Karrion Kross and Jeff Hardy. Karrion Kross actually beats Jeff Hardy, so 3 weeks ago meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyways, there's trying. I don't know. He's supposed to look. I guess he's supposed to be looking, like a threat to Samoa Joe for next Saturday. In our next Sunday, actually, at TakeOver. So there's that. We had Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop. I'm not sure where most of these segments come in because they don't add them listed here. These have the matches. They don't have the segments. I think there's a segment in here somewhere. There is a Doudrop segment with Eva Marie, but I don't care to talk about it. So Alexa Bliss defeats Doudrop. Before the match, loud. We want Wyatt Chance come out. That's gonna. I'm sorry, that's gonna affect her. Not affect her, but like it's gonna be with her for a while. Unless this gimmick is always gonna be tied to the Fiend, unfortunately. But she's doing great in the role. It's not for me anymore. So, we had the damn doll wink. Anyways, Alexa Bliss wins with I believe it was a DDT. I believe it was the DDT. Which, by the way, her using the DDT as a finisher, I love that. Then we had Sheamus defeat Ricochet. United States Championship thing. Before this, I think there was a Drew McIntyre. Not Drew McIntyre. There was I believe there was a Damian Priest backstage promo with Matt Riddle, but I don't remember exactly where that's at. So, unfortunately, because I'm using WWE.com, they don't have the stuff up there. I mean, I could look for the Raw results. Raw recap. Here we go. Actually, I'll just use this. It's fine. This is not a Raw recap. Fine, I'll just keep using this. It's whatever. Doing it live, people. As it's recording. So it was a fine match, probably best match of the night, even though we've seen it multiple times. Ricochet is great. They don't really do much with him after that, probably. But after the match, Damian Priest comes out, challenges Sheamus to the. Actually, not. Actually, this is after their match with John Morrison, which no one wants to see. I'm over it. The Damian Priest, John Morrison, Miz crap. Which doesn't matter because I'm going to see it this coming Monday on Raw. I'm going to see the Miz versus Damian Priest. I don't want to see it. But after the match, Damian Priest challenges Sheamus for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. And it is happening. Priest and Sheamus, SummerSlam. Even though Priest has already beaten him, we're still going to see that match again. I'll get to I get to some of my problems with how AEW did that with the AEW title. But next match, well, before this, there was a promo between Ali and Mansoor. Basically, they're all buddies now, apparently. But T-Bar defeated Mustafa Ali. Whatever. I mean, kind of. I'm liking the Mansoor Ali stuff. I think they're gonna win the tag titles at the Saudi Arabia show. Because why not? So there's that. Bobby Lashley proclaimed Goldberg is done. I hope so. I really hope this is Goldberg's last match. I really hope that they just release him or something. I don't want to see Goldberg on my TV anymore. I don't want to none of the world title matches at the time seemed like world title matches, and I really hope this is not their way to get the title on Goldberg, because Goldberg does not need the championship. Right now, Bobby Lashley really isn't doing anything good for me with the WWE title anyway. They took the best part of Bobby Lashley away from him, and it wasn't the WWE title. It was the Hurt Business, but it doesn't matter. And then Sludberg is out there, whatever. Raw Women's Champion Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley ended in an old contest with Charlotte Flair. Got involved, looking stunning, as usual. I don't really care for Charlotte as a character, not much as a wrestler. But damn, Andrade is a lucky man. Standing tall. I don't know. Like whoever stands, I'm almost certain who's ever standing tall on Raw this Monday is not winning on Sunday. Usually how that works. Our main event. Randy Orton defeated AJ Styles with the beautiful RKO out of midair, out of nowhere. Then the post match had RKO Bro, celebrate, I guess. Randy Orton hit him with the RKO. Matt Riddle, that is, with the RKO. I thought it was over with them between those two, and then Randy smiled and I guess hugged him on the floor. It was really weird, but I'm still curious where this is going to go, how far they're going to go with this. I do think RK Bro is going to win the tag team titles at SummerSlam. So the highlights of this show tonight, our Raw show, was Randy Orton is back, and so is RK Bro. Sheamus Ricochet pretty good. I'm enjoying Homeless Baron Corbin. Oh, another thing that I should mention, because like I said, WWE.com, for some fucking reason, have these previews up, or review results up. They don't even mention the other stuff that happens on the show. Elias looks like he's getting a gimmick change. Okay, whatever. Mansoor and Mustafa Ali are great. RKO on Matt Riddle to just reunite him. So that's basically the stuff I enjoyed from Raw. That's Raw. Let's go to NXT, a dying brand, which is, if you've seen in the thumbnail, Vince finally kills NXT because it's exactly what's happening. I fucking hate it. So, NXT starts with a match. I'm shocked. I'm also shocked that it starts with a match. Dakota Kai defeated Saray in a very good match. My only issue here was, originally was supposed to be Ember Moon versus Saray, for some medical reason, I guess. Was unable to compete, so Dakota Kai stepped in. My only gripe with this thing here is, why did you have to sacrifice Saray for this match, for this program? Couldn't you just have Aaliyah, who never wins a match in NXT at all, wrestle Dakota Kai? You didn't need to sacrifice Saray, who's going to be here for a while. Dakota Kai, who's probably going to the main roster after TakeOver, unfortunately. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right now, Raquel Gonzalez is not doing it for me at all as NXT Women's Champion. I still am going to hold on to my statement that Raquel was not the right person to beat Io Shirai. I've said it multiple times. It should have been Toni Storm, but they fucked that boat up so many times. They fucked up. I guarantee you, if this was Triple H's NXT, where Triple H actually is in charge of NXT, because during Toni Storm's run on NXT here in the States, no. So then we had, all right. So this is one of the many segments on the show, which I'm gonna go through my highlight notes here. So throughout the night we had the Indy Hartwell, the fuck is his name? Dexter Lumis and Gargano and Candice LeRae segments throughout the show. It was them going on a date. Well, not Candice and Johnny, but Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis. I actually like the Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell stuff. The Garganos, the way segments are. The way is great. Congratulations, by the way, are in order for Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. And they announced earlier this, I believe it was Thursday. No, it was Friday at morning. They announced that Candice LeRae is gonna have a baby. So congratulations to both of them. Candice, I think Candice and Johnny will be great parents. They're gonna nerd their child up. It's gonna be fun. So there's that. Another thing I liked on this show was the LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Ted DiBiase stuff. The LA Knight defeated Andrew Chase. Okay, fine, it was whatever. It was whatever, I guess. But the talking point is they're gonna have a rematch. So this is a new match set for TakeOver. But by the way, if you didn't know, last week they announced Monday they did announce Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez. That's the one match, and then another match was announced for TakeOver. Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight for the $1 Million Championship. If Cameron Grimes loses, then Ted DiBiase becomes the butler for LA Knight. But if LA Knight wins or loses, Cameron Grimes is the champion. So that's interesting. I'm excited for that. Another segment, few of these segments that we had. So Imperium tried to cut a promo, was interrupted by MSK. I'm not really digging MSK as. I'm not digging this version of MSK. I liked them in Impact. I don't like them in NXT. They're just boring to me. Like they have no personality. They have no character. I hope either Imperium takes the titles off of them or Grizzled Young Veterans or somebody. I can't stand them as right now. Another segment we also had a Hit Row segment. They are feuding with Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma. I'm enjoying that stuff. I love Santos Escobar. I'm loving Hit Row. I think El Legado del Fantasma does need a female. You guys should probably tell if you go to my Twitter. You know who I want as their female member. See Serena Del Rente. Come on, it's right there. She could be a perfect fit for that. If she wasn't going to come in to be Andrade's mouthpiece, which I'm not upset about that now because Chavo is great. But if she was gonna not do that, I love to have her as a member of Legado del Fantasma. Selena Del Rente is a great option for that. Gigi Dolan, the former Priestley, the former Priscilla Kelly defeated Amir Miller. I think his name is Amir Miller. Anyways, her opponent doesn't matter. The fact that they're showcasing Gigi Dolan is great. I love that. She got the win with a really interesting finishing maneuver. I love it. Then we had another match announced. We have a 3 Stages of Hell match announced for NXT TakeOver, which is going to be the main event over Samoa Joe, unfortunately. Is that the main event? Yeah, that's the main event. Yeah, this is not the main event segment. So, Regal has a is overseeing the face-to-face confrontation of Kyle O'Reilly and probably soon-to-be free agent Adam Cole. So we have a 3 Stages of Hell match set for NXT TakeOver 36. It's going to be the one undisputed final, which is a great thing. First fall, 2 falls were chosen each by Cole and O'Reilly. O'Reilly chose straight up wrestling match. Cole chose as the first stipulation. The second fall will be a street fight from Adam Cole, and if there's a third fall, it's if necessary, steel cage. People are a little upset about the steel cage option. I'm like, if it's, I don't mind it as long as it's the steel cage we got 2 years ago with Gargano and Cole. I'm gonna probably get a lot of heat for this one. I don't think Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano needed 3 Stages of Hell. It wasn't at that. Wasn't personal. Sure, Cole won the title from Johnny Gargano. That's about it. That's all that this feud was built on, if I'm being completely honest. NXT Breakout semifinals. Odyssey Jones defeated Trey Baxter. They see a lot in Odyssey Jones until they wanted to decide to release him. I'm kidding. I shouldn't be really kidding about that, but it's really hard for me to care about some of these guys when WWE's gonna end up firing these people. So it was a fun match, I guess. Boa, this one kind of pisses me off kind of bit. I don't know what's going on with Xia Li, but there was no mention of her during or before or even during the match with Boa and Drake Maverick. They didn't even mention her along with. They only mentioned Mei Ying, and that was about it. There was no mention of Xia Li, nothing like that. She wasn't even in the promo packages that they had. I'm like, please tell me they're not going to do that. I don't hope they don't take it from there, because if I'm being completely honest, Boa is not the highlight of the act. It's Xia Li and you got Mei Ying there. Those are the only 2 people who care about the TNT and Shaw. All right, so this coincides. I didn't talk about this yet because this coincides with me that earlier on in the night, Ilya Dragunov showed up to cut a promo talking about his match with Walter at TakeOver. And then Pete Dunne came out basically saying it's a joke and whatnot, and he shouldn't be challenging Walter for the championship. So the main event set, and we had a great match between Pete Dunne and Ilya Dragunov. I enjoyed it. Not a fan of Pete Dunne winning, because how are you supposed to build up Ilya Dragunov for a title match on pay-per-view, because it's going to be a pay-per-view match too, if you are going to just have him lose his first match on regular NXT? It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Then Walter came out, was about to go beat up Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov did fight him off. Ilya standing tall. That's how NXT concluded. It was a fine show. It wasn't like NXT's viewership did go back up because they did return to USA Network tonight or this week. So there's that. I had to rewatch. All right, so now we're gonna go to we are now gonna go to AEW Dynamite. Hang on, let me like a second. I apparently don't have Rampage. Oh, I don't need. Okay, so here's AEW Dynamite. So AEW Dynamite was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is a really good show. It was a really good show here. We opened up with so they opened up with a graphic for beautiful Bobby Eaton, RIP to him. So he passed away sometime a few days ago. It was sometime over the last weekend or something like that. Basically running out of the card, but MJF was backstage, getting ready, basically still building up the main event between Wardlow and Jericho. MJF told told Wardlow he better get the job done tonight against Chris Jericho. Basically, didn't like the whole. One of the things I did like about that segment was they brought up the cage match between Wardlow and Cody, where Cody beat him. You don't see that much in WWE, but I love when AEW does it, because it plays in, and they're teasing. They keep teasing that eventual breakup between Wardlow and MJF. That's coming. As usual, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur broadcast team. We open up. Okay, so we were told at the start of the show that Tony Khan signed Kenny Omega to defend his AEW World Title against the number one ranked Christian Cage at All Out, which we'll wait to talk about this until we get to the match. Until after the match here. The show starts, but this is actually a really fun match. I enjoyed this first match here. It was AEW's. It was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks defeated Top Flight's Dante Martin and the Sydal Brothers. This was a really fun match. The highlight of this match was Dante Martin. Don Callis joins commentary. Fun match, back and forth, to the point where the Elite was concerned that Dante Martin could kick out of the One-Winged Angel, so they hit him with multiple V triggers. The Super Elite V, I think it's the Super Elite V trigger, for the win. The Elite picks up the win after the match. If we can find it here, looking for it after the match here. Okay, so after the match, Christian Cage's music hits, and so Christian Cage's music hits. Out came the challenger for Kenny Omega's title, and it says, "Look, it's Christian, the Stanford Stooge from Don Callis." I like that line. That was funny. The Jungle Express comes out. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, who are the number one ranked contenders for the AEW Tag Team titles. That will be next week. We'll talk about that. So Don Callis is on the microphone, basically saying, "You're getting your AEW title shot at All Out," and the crowd immediately booed it and started chanting for CM Punk. I understandably so, because this was supposed to be Hangman Page, but Hangman Page is taking time off to be with his wife, who is about to have or has already had their first child. So that is understandable, I guess. Part of this next part didn't make sense to me, but I'll get to that here in a second. Let's see. Basically calling him a great wrestler. Now, Christian goes on and says, "Are you finished yet?" Basically, Christian says, "Well, Scott D'Amore signed off on me and you on the first episode of Rampage for the Impact World Title." First, I was like, "Why? Why are we having this match twice?" And then come to find out there is a Impact show next Friday called Emergence. I believe that's the name of the show, and they need the world champion on that show. So either Kenny or Christian couldn't be on the show, so they had to do that match there. I guess that makes sense. Before they left, Jungle Boy says, "Oh, and by the way, we also have a tag team title match next week, so that's going to be good." I kind of want to see Jurassic Express win the titles, but I also want to see. I have a feeling that Guerrillas of Destiny are coming in to challenge the Bucks for the tag titles. I just have this weird feeling. Next we had a video package for a TNT champion Miro, who basically announced the match for Rampage, Fuego de la Sol for Rampage. That was great. Miro was great. Sting and Darby. Darby Allin with Sting defeated Daniel Garcia. I mean, I like Daniel Garcia. He's with O2. The former Everrise, Jeff Park, and Matt Lee. Pretty good match. We got the coffin drop for the win, basically. I believe it was coffin drop for the win. I believe he didn't win the coffin drop. Coffin drop for the win. Darby Allin still looking the standing call. So Everrise, the former Everrise, started attacking Darby Allin. Sting start beating them up, hit a suplex on the apron. Then we have a match set for next week, a Texas Tornado match. Darby Allin and Sting versus O2. It's going to be Sting's first team match on TNT in over 20 years. That's exciting. Sting can still go. For all the people saying, oh, Sting's too old, he's 61, he's too old. Motherfucker, Sting wrestled a match on at Double or Nothing. It looked fantastic. Then we got Death Triangle in the back there. Basically, Pac says, you guys should worry about the AEW tag team titles. I'm going to worry about Andrade. Andrade later on responded, basically saying, challenging them to a match at All Out. That's going to be, oh my God. That's going to be, I need a drink just for that. That's going to be fire. That's going to be one of the best matches on the show. Oh, best matches of the weekend, too. Match of the year contender, Pac versus Andrade. And if it's for the AAA Mega World title, we'll talk about that later. Trios match. They don't call them 6-man tag. Cool. Trios match, Best Friends, which is Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta, which is somehow they're in Best Friend. He's in Best Friends. Versus Hardy Family Office. Matt Hardy and Private Party. Matt Hardy wins by pinning, I believe he pinned Orange Cassidy. No, he pinned Yuta. The Twist of Fate. It was okay, I guess. Not really. I don't really care for Matt. I'm gonna be honest with you. Matt Hardy's too busy building another Hardy family office. Darcy Fuentes was backstage. I've already talked about that. Basically, the Andrade match with Pac at All Out. And by the way, during that trios match, Nyla Rose did come out and attack our blindside Statlander, which goes into this match here. You got Chris Statlander versus Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose lost clean. So it doesn't look like we're getting Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker at All Out. It does look like it could be Chris Statlander and all. I like Chris Statlander. Don't get me wrong, but to me, I think the bigger match is Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. But if they want to save some of these big matches for the Arthur Ashe show, like Paige and Omega and Britt and Thunder Rosa, that's fine. The Bucks were backstage, basically not liking it. They're going to do to do a layup with a basketball, and Jurassic Express stuffed him. Tony Schiavone was in the ring with the AEW Women's Champion. Heroes Welcome, treated like a babyface in there. Didn't heal it up, which was great. The Red Velvet came out with booze. That's the main event for Rampage. That was the Rampage main event. Britt Baker and Red Velvet. That's gonna be great. It was okay. I'll get to that match. Impact World Tag Team Title match. The Good Brothers defeated Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. Scott D'Amore joined commentary team, which is different because this is the first time that any of the Impact titles have been defeated on AEW television. So 6 months in this partnership's been going on for 6 months, and they've finally decided 6 or 7 months now. They've finally decided to, use it correctly. Dark Order is still over. Interesting fact that only Colt Cabana came out with Uno and Grayson. So, because Uno and Grayson and if you watch BET, Uno, Grayson, and Colt Cabana are the only ones that are respecting Hangman's wishes. So, very interesting what's going on with that. Basically, Anderson and Gallows cheated to win picking up the victory. Dark Order will be tag team champ. I still say they're going to win the tag team titles by the end of the year. That is my prediction. Tony Schiavone was in there with QT Marshall. I don't give a fuck about this. Let's move on. Paul White basically chokeslammed somebody from the faction. It looks like it's going to be Paul White versus QT Marshall at All Out. Whatever. I fucking hate the factory. I don't like QT Marshall. They have go away hate for me. Main event time. The fourth labor of Jericho, the most underwhelming labor of Jericho. The Demo God, Jericho with versus Wardlow with MJF ringside, not as the referee. Key point there. It was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a Wardlow guy, so I didn't really care for it. Judas Effect, he hit. So the main point of the match was MJF tried to slid the diamond ring into the hand of Wardlow, got caught, ejected from the match because MJF apparently is a moron, which didn't seem to say, oh, I'm gonna be at ringside, but I can't be ejected. Didn't think about that. Somebody handed Jericho hits Wardlow with Floyd with the referee turned, hits the Judas Effect. 1, 2, 3. Jericho wins, meaning he gets his match with MJF, which is not at All Out, which is surprising to me a bit. But I think MJF is going to be facing Sammy Guevara at All Out. That's just what I think. I don't know. The Pinnacle. Well, most of the Pinnacle. Put most of the Pinnacle beat up at Jericho and Guevara. Out comes Hager. Basically, the most stupidest stipulation is no Judas Effect and no entrance music. That's your stipulation. I'm like, Jericho's been wrestling for like 20-something years. 30-something years. And that's your stipulation? He's got other moves like the Code Breaker and the Walls of Jericho and the Lion Tamer and the Lion Salt. He's got all these other moves. I'm just saying. But that's basically how Dynamite went off the air. There was something I just missed. I just remembered it. There was a promo for. I don't know where this match is going to happen, but there looks like they're going to do the rematch between FTR and Santana Ortiz, probably at All Out. Given. I don't know. Maybe the tag team titles were not defended at All Out. I don't know. There's that. I get to the CM Punk rumors and Tony Khan's thing about Rampage when we get to Rampage. All right, let's get to. All right, now we have a SmackDown. I missed most of SmackDown, but I don't know some of the highlights. So the highlights from Dynamite, the Elite versus Dante Martin and the Seidel brothers. That was great. The Bucks versus Jurassic Express next week. Let me look up. Actually, let me see if I can find AEW Dynamite card for. Okay, so here's next week's card for Dynamite. Dan Lambert will be on the Dynamite next week with two former UFC champions. Brian Cage will beat Ricky Starks face to face. Jurassic Express will face Young Bucks for the tag titles. Shawn Spears will face Sammy Guevara with Sammy Guevara's big announcement. I'm gonna assume it's either the MJF stuff or the trios titles. Darby Allin Sting versus O2. And MJF and Chris Jericho versus MJF. There's that. Now here's SmackDown. Oh, and let me finish the highlights here of this. And Aleister Black, Malachi Black promo. He's already a star. I'm loving what they're doing with him. The Impact World Title match was the highlight for Rampage. Daniel Garcia versus Darby Allin's great. Orange Cassidy is great. Matches announced for All Out is great. Britt Baker's hometown welcome. Okay, now. SmackDown SmackDown opened with John Cena and Roman Reigns promo for the first few weeks of this match being taking place. I didn't care about it because Finn Balor was the focus of the promo of this feud. Last night was a different story. Great back and forth. Cena talking about he drove away Ambrose, and the whole thing with Nikki Bella is kind of played out, but it was kind of funny at the same time. The CM Punk reference, kissing Roman by leaving with the title through the crowd. That was what Punk did at Money in the Bank 2011. See, all it takes is one promo for me to care about a championship match or a match in general. That was when that they did it. I'm sold on the match. I hope it's going to be good because the last match they had was not very good. Roman's not losing the championship though. Well, I will talk about. I'm not going to talk about Raw and SmackDown next week. I will cover predictions for NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam. And my prediction for the Rampage show next week. So that's going to be something else. All right, then we got our first match of the night. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Apollo Crews to win the Intercontinental Championship for the second time in his career. This is going to be his first run as a babyface on the main roster. Well, a champion as a babyface champion, basically. Nakamura won clean. Commander Aziz and Rick Boogs were ejected from the match. I'm going to be completely honest. This gimmick of Apollo Crews is not working. It's not doing anything for me. It's not doing anything for anybody. He did nothing with the championship since winning it. Sure, he's been at SmackDown, but that was one SmackDown. He had to. I'm gonna tell you right now. Apollo Crews has been the Intercontinental champion since WrestleMania. Has not defended it on Hell in a Cell. Has not defended it on Backlash. Has not defended it at Money in the Bank. Hopefully, now that Nakamura is the champion, you'll use that title more correctly with an actual person who is prestige with championships. Hopefully, I don't know. Then we got Street Profits promo backstage. Street Profits prepare for a match. I guess they want to smoke. It's Otis and Chad Gable versus Street Profits. Street Profits win with the Frog Splash. Montez Ford's Frog Splash currently is one of the most beautiful Frog Splashes I've ever seen. Not my favorite Frog Splash. My favorite Frog Splash is RVD's Frog Splash, followed by Eddie Guerrero's. But there's that. Baron Corbin. Let's see what else happened on the show that I'm trying to think about. Anything? I don't think there wasn't very too much backstage segments on the show. So, like, not much happened. Not much of backstage segments happened on the show. Speaking of backstage, we had a wild Kevin Dunn appearance. I was hoping Seth Rollins would stop him in the face. Seth Rollins comes out, cuts a promo, talking about his match with Edge. Basically saying he's better than Edge. And I'm thinking about this. I'm like, he could be right because Seth Rollins became a main eventer not like 2-3 years into his career. Edge took a while before Edge became a main eventer. I'm excited for Edge versus Seth Rollins. Edge wasn't there, but Edge versus Seth Rollins is going to be great. Backstage promo, Mysterios, and talking about whatever. Dolph Ziggler, Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs again. For some reason, Mysterios won, almost by a distraction. Technically, it was by distraction, but the ones who seemed to be distracted were Ziggler and Rude. Whatever. Move on. Baron Corbin's last plea for $1,000 from the crowd. Kevin Owens comes out, says, "I'll give you the $1,000 if you can beat me in a match." He didn't. But Baron Corbin's great. I'm enjoying what they're doing with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin later on in the night steals Big E's Money in the Bank contract. It was pretty funny. Main event segment for some fucking reason. Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair contract signing. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. This is making me not care about the rematch. I liked their match at WrestleMania, but I hated their build to that show, that match. But their match at WrestleMania, I enjoyed it. Not enjoying this build again. They've already ruined it. Like, why is Selena Vega and Carmella are friends with Sasha Banks, and why are they teaming with her now? And where is Toni Storm and Liv Morgan at? And Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox, where are they at? That's the main event. That's basically okay. That's unique. I didn't see this because I missed most. Like I said, I missed some of it. Sasha hit the bank statement on the table with their hair. That's great. I like it. Okay, so now let's go into Rampage. Well, first things first. Things I like from SmackDown. The Cena Reigns promo, Nakamura winning the IC title, homeless Baron Corbin is great, and Seth Rollins promo. That was it. So, Rampage was a very short show. You had, before the shows, I believe they were filming matches for Dark and at Dark Elevation. That show had had Excalibur, who was it? Excalibur, Taz, Jericho, and Mark Henry on commentary. Opening match was the Impact World Title, Christian Cage and Kenny Omega. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna make the statement here for in a second. Great match. Kenny Omega loses via distract. Or not. Basically, the Young Bucks basically cost Omega the match. Kill switch on the chair, which is brutal, by the way. Pins him 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say this right now. Well, Impact champion Christian Cage will be up on the next set of tapings, I guess, for Impact. It will be Christian versus Brian Myers at the Emergence show. I'm actually gonna put this out here. So, if I'm AEW, I don't actually count this loss from Kenny Omega. I don't count Kenny Omega's loss last night towards his AEW record, because as it wasn't really an AEW sanctioned match. Sure, it happened on AEW television, but it was an Impact sanctioned match. So technically, he's still undefeated for AEW. Technically, there's that. Then we had Miro defending the TNT Championship against Fuego del Sol. That was a hot start. Made me almost believe that Fuego was going to win the championship after I tweeted out RIP Fuego. Didn't last very long. Caught him with the Samoan drop. Then hit him with the super kick. Then hit him with the game over, the former accolade, but he wrenches the ball on the back, which is great. Rips up the AEW contract. Come back to commercial. Before we do, I'll mention this in a second. Then a really, really touching moment. Tony Khan and Sammy Guevara comes out. Tony Khan hands a contract to Sammy Guevara. Sammy comes out here and says, "You're my best friend. You are 1 in 5, 1 in 51 or something in AEW. You're now all elite. People love you. Whatever." That was some touching stuff. Something I forgot to mention, backstage interview, Mark Henry with Christian Cage and Jungle Express, basically getting ready for his match with All Out with Kenny Omega. The talking part of that promo was not the promo itself. Orange Cassidy was just chilling in the background. That shit was fucking hilarious. I don't know why he was back there, but he was just chilling. That was funny. Then we had, then we showed, next week's, not next week's Rampage card, next week's Dynamite lineup. Then we go up to Darby Allin and Sting, who's in the rafters, like good old days. And then they cut to the AEW hype package for Rampage next week in the United Center. They're talking about the best in the world promo, and the most anticipated television event in history. Come on, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about this here. So Tony Khan drops a major hint about CM Punk. Basically, he says, if I can find the okay. So all right. So he basically is like, furthermore, we'll hear more about what's coming on Rampage. This is, I believe it was Wednesday. This was said. It's going to be a huge card, and tonight we'll establish what's going to be happening on the premiere, which is Rampage, which we know was the 3 title matches. Of course, I think everybody knows what to expect on the second episode of Rampage, which is titled The First Dance, and I expect the anticipation will continue to build. Subtle there, Tony Khan. Then, sometime this week, CM Punk was asked finally about the AEW rumors and where he's going to be on August the 20th. He was on Sunday Night Main Event podcast, asked about it. He was promoting the heel show that he's coming out with. He said, when was that? Let me look at my calendar. When did you say it was? The 20th? I think I might actually be doing a screening. This isn't confirmed yet, so I probably shouldn't blast this out everywhere. But we're talking about doing a screening of episode 3 for Heels at an AMC theater in Chicago. That's one of the dates that's proposed. So yeah, hoping to see everybody there. Right, bullshit, Punk, bullshit. Punk's gonna be at All Out. Well, he'll be at All Out, but he'll be in Chicago next week for Rampage to build his match for Darby Allin. So that's gonna be great. I'm excited for that. He also was asked about the best in the world thing. He said, hey, listen, best in the world, that could be anybody. That's Brian, right? That's my assumption. I hear best in the world, I think Brian. Sure. Brian's great. Don't get me wrong. So there's that. That is this week's wrestling, everything that's happened this week. Christian and Omega, the Miro and Fuego stuff. Fuego signing with AEW. That's great stuff. Main event. I shouldn't fucking go to my highlight yet. Main event, Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's Championship. It was okay. Not really. I'm not really much of a fan of either one of these ladies, if I'm being completely honest. Not much of a Britt Baker person. Don't really care for Red Velvet. But it was a decent match. Obviously, Britt Baker wins with a lockjaw. Out comes Statlander, who got booed because they're in Pittsburgh. Statlander got booed. That looks like it's going to be a match. I don't think people want to see that. Maybe, I don't know. Then out comes Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is back with AEW. This time, fully, she signed with AEW. That was confirmed after the show. So AEW has added another female to their women's roster, which is great. Jamie Hayter is great. She's a great addition. I thought she was going to go in NXT UK. Apparently not. There's that. So, yeah. So basically, that's all the stuff I got with Rampage and all that stuff. Some great stuff there. I will actually go through the card for New Japan's Resurgence tonight, which there's 2 shows tonight, TripleMania and Resurgence. Both shows kind of have a key, like, major implications when it comes to Kenny Omega and AEW Resurgence. So let's go through this card here. Resurgence is going to be at the LA Torch Coliseum. The Torch at the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles, California. That is tonight. Let's see. So a match was changed. We got Alex Coughlin versus Carlo Fredericks. That's gonna be got that. You have Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, and Wheeler Yuta versus to be determined. Clark are to be announced. Clark, Connors, and Rina Nareda in a 6-man tag match. You have the Team Filthy, which is Tom Lawyer, J.R. Kratos, Danny Limelight, Joel Nelson, Royce Isaacs, I think that's it, Priscilla Rush, Fred Yaida, Yuya. I'm not going to even try to pronounce them this time. It was supposed to be Brody King and Chris Dickerson, but Brody King was pulled from the show, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Juice Robinson versus Hikuleo, which is son of Ming, basically. Moose is going to be on that show. She's going to take on Tomohiro Ishii. Oh boy. John Moxley and TBA versus the Good Brothers. I don't know who Moxley's going to have. He may have... I'm going to go with Sami Callihan on that one. Probably Eddie Kingston, but I would go with Sami Callihan. John Moxley's first match in New Japan since the match with Kenta, I think. We got the Never Openweight Championship. Jay White, champion, defending against David Finlay. And then we have I'm assuming this is the main event. Lance Archer defending the New Japan IWGP US Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. This is going to play part. I think John Moxley may get involved post-match. Maybe, I don't know. Because I do think it's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi versus John Moxley at All Out. So that's going to be... I'm going to be looking forward to the show. This is going to be good. AAA Mania, I don't know. I'm not worried about the rest of the card. The main event of that show is Kenny Omega defending the AAA Mega World Title against Andrade. I think Andrade is going to win that title. I think this is going to be the downward spiral of Kenny Omega and the Elite clinging on to the AEW World Title until Kenny Omega loses it to one Hangman Adam Page. So yeah, that's my stuff there for the show. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Misfit with oh yeah, everything's gonna be. I shouldn't be. I'm sorry for the stretching. Whew. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, do the thing, do all that stuff. If you want to follow my Facebook page too, Misfit Wrestling Podcast, you can do that as well. I'm still working on getting co-hosts for the show. I'm hoping next week to be joined by somebody for SummerSlam and TakeOver. So hopefully that's my plan. Hopefully to do some type of review or something. I don't know. We might do a review of both shows. Who knows? That's up to you guys. But I am Matt the Misfit. I am signing out. Have a good night.